Hi, it's Stephen here from Son of a Nation Wave, and this is day 31 of the December daily draws. So let's see what message we get today on the last day of December and the last day of 2024. So take this chance to say Happy New Year to everyone. So I'll be taking the first card from the Green Witch Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Scenes of the Witch Yule Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. The Two of Pentacles, we've had this card before. This is about keeping the flow of things going, taking our responsibilities and the tasks that we have and keeping them moving in the right direction, balancing our priorities and our practical needs, using the skills and abilities that we possess to do so, and adjusting our balance to the situations. As the situation changes, we may need to change our position to adapt to that, to keep the energy flowing, to keep our energy flowing. And this is where we perhaps have to deal with more than one thing at a time. This is where we have several things going on at once, and we have to keep them all moving. And that sometimes that's more difficult than easier said than done kind of thing. So this is where we need to make good choices, set good priorities at any given moment, and to not overdo one thing at the expense of another, because then that becomes neglected, it loses its momentum and energy. And as I say, we need to give things the proper attention that each one deserves and warrants and needs in order to keep going. So it means that sometimes this is like multitasking, which some of us are better at than others. But if we can't necessarily do everything all at the same time, if we have to do one thing at a time, then we have to get the timing right. We have to do the right thing at one time and then know when to stop that and then move to something else to take care of that. Then maybe move back to the other thing later to check that everything's going. We need to know how to prioritize our time, how to organize our time, how to organize our own personal energy, making sure that we are at the best kind of energy level that we can get for the moment. So that means taking care of our physical needs, including food, including exercise, including getting sleep where we can, renewing our energy where we can, in order to maintain our everyday life and existence. So this is about making the right choices, using the right skills and focus at the right time for the right thing, keeping everything moving, not just focusing on one thing at the expense of everything else, the letting, almost like a juggler dropping a ball because he's too busy focused on one. He forgets he's got another one to catch, and he misses it and it falls to the ground. So but realizing, of course, like any juggler, particularly when he's practicing and learning, sometimes we have to drop a few of these things before we learn how, we can improve the skill of that. A juggler doesn't start off juggling perfectly. And even an experienced professional juggler will drop something from time to time. It's just human nature. But as a beginner, he will have dropped the ball or whatever it is he's juggling more often than not, until he's learnt the techniques that he needs to keep the balls moving and in the air, etc. So sometimes it comes by practice, and sometimes we will drop something. Something won't work out, and we need then just to know that we need to pick it back up again and start again, and keep going. It's perseverance as well as making the right choices, the right priorities, etc., using the right skills at the right time. It also means knowing, that it also takes patience and perseverance to get the things right, to get used to doing it. We might not get it all right to start with. And for a while, we have to, the progress may be steady, but as long as progress is being made and the mistakes become fewer and further apart, and in the meantime, we get better and better, that's how we develop the skills and abilities that we need in order to maintain the balance that we need in our lives to keep the energy flowing. And that is what this card reminds us as we are on the threshold of a new year, and its advice for going forward into the new year, what we may need to be doing in order to keep that energy flowing in the coming year. So I think this is a very good card to get at this time of year. Okay, let's quickly look at which oracle card we get to go with that. We have falling in love, and to me, it's a nice wintry scene, obviously a Yule scene with the trees and everything, and quite often it can be a romantic time where people do fall in love, or people get engaged or married, or have a Christmas wedding or something like that. It can be a time that it seems to be a magical time, a romantic time for some. But it doesn't have to be about a romantic relationship. This is basically about falling in love and doing what you love. And that may involve where your priorities are in doing what you love. But that way maybe where your focus is. But don't forget, you may also have to do things that you don't love so much, but are necessarily need to be done. And you need to also make sure that those keep moving too. There are practical things in life. We don't necessarily love them. We don't fall in love with them, but we know they're necessities that need to be maintained, and thereby we need to pay attention to those. Of course, we do also need to dedicate ourselves to the things that we love, the things that hold our attention, but don't let those things become a distraction about and cause us to neglect the other things that are just as necessary and important in our lives, but maybe a bit more mundane and don't have that romanticized or doesn't have that quite passionate connection for us. So we need to get the balance right in how we relate to that. So that, I believe, is the message for the end of the year, the end of the month, going into a new year. So there we go. So that's today's message. I'll be back tomorrow for the day one of the January daily draws of 2025. So until then, Happy New Year once again, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.